Hello, I'm Matt from Ludochrono, and today I'm going to give you an overview of Duck and Cover. Duck and Cover is a 2 to 7 players game for players ages 8 and up, and it plays for around 20 minutes. In this game, everyone has a grid of 3 by 4 cards, and those cards are numbered from 1 to 12. Basically, there are rubber ducks in your bathtub and they are making a splash, and you want to minimize the splash value that's visible at the end of the round. So the way the game plays is it plays in 3 rounds, and at the end of a round you score the points that are visible, and at the end of the 3rd round you total up your scores and the player who has the lowest score wins. During a round you're going to flip cards from this deck, and you're going to call out the cards, and that specific duck is going to either duck or cover, and we'll see how the actions play. In this case, we call out duck number 3, and each player simultaneously will take a duck and will choose to either duck or cover regardless of what the others are doing. In this case, my duck number 3 is here, and covering means taking the pile where the duck sits and you place it on top of an adjacent pile. So I'm going to place it here, and that player is going to place it over their 10. You minimize the number of splashes doing so, and even better, you cover this one for this player. Now we move on to the next turn. We call out number 1, so number 1 is going to cover again, and this one covers as well, and this one will cover as well. We move on to the next turn, and then we reveal that card. And that card is a repeat. We're going to repeat the previously played value, which is a 1. So all numerical values are present twice in the deck. This means that this card allows us to have a 3rd one in the deck. And we're going to cover. Remember, we take the entire pile and we place it adjacent. So I'm covering my 12. That player covers their 11, and that player their 12 as well. We move on to the next turn, and now we have a 9. And for that 9, in this case, I could cover, but it wouldn't be so beneficiary because I think I have better plans. So I will duck instead. When ducking, I'm going to take the entire pile and move it somewhere in the grid or outside of the grid. The grid can move. And for example, I'm going to play it here. That player is going to cover like so, and this player is going to cover their 10. So now we move on to the next turn, and we have a 6. So unfortunately I cannot cover because I have no adjacent pile to cover. So I will be forced to duck. I can move inside the grid, outside the grid. I will choose this place for this. That player is going to cover like so, and that player has no 6. So they are going to skip their turn and say quack. Then we move on to the next turn, and we flip a 12. No one has a 12. Quack, quack, quack. As everyone has said quack, we'll remove that card from the game, and then if a sufficient number of cards have been revealed, that way we're going to end the round and proceed to scoring. There is one last card I didn't tell you about, and this is the highest card. When flipped, you are going to all move your highest card, and it might not be the same. For example, for me, it would be 11, and for that player, it would be 9. The round is almost at an end. We're going to flip a card. It's a card no one has. Quack, quack, quack. And we remove it. Incidentally, this is the right number of cards for the game to end at 3 players. So we are going to tally our scores, our splashes. We have 4 splashes, 2 splashes, and 3 splashes for me. We note them on the score pad, and we may move on to a next round. To set up the next round, you shuffle your cards, make a new grid of 4 by 3. You also shuffle all of the draw cards into a new deck, and you may move on to the next round. Now, there is a specific case that can put an end to the round sooner, and that's if you manage to have only one single pile. When that happens, well, everyone is going to tally their scores and score their splashes, but you are also going to score them negatively. They remove splashes from you. So at the end of the 3rd round, the player with the lowest score is the winner. So that's very, very good for you if you manage to do it. You know almost everything there is to know about duck and cover. So this is a game about moving and covering your ducks smartly. Now quack, and see you on Ludochrono.